Hi, I'm Margarita Paulitis from Raw, Real, Organic, Authentic Results, and welcome to the Raw podcast. As an integrated trauma-informed coach and a narcissistic abuse specialist, it is my mission to empower you to heal, to grow, and to really thrive in the aftermath of narcissistic abuse. I truly believe that every single person has the inherent capacity to overcome adversity and create a life filled with joy, filled with purpose, and filled with fulfillment. My hope is that you find the answers to the questions that you have become curious about. I am committed to helping you reclaim your power, find healing, and create a life filled with meaning and happiness. Hey guys, it's Margarita from Raw, Real, Organic, Authentic Results, and welcome to my podcast on whether or not you are living with a narcissistic parent. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about exploring this is because when I see couples that come to see me, one of them will ask me, am I a narcissist? And the answer to that right then and there is no, because if you were a narcissist, you wouldn't be asking me that question, because a narcissist does not have any ownership or take responsibility. And let's look at it a bit further. The other part of the equation, your partner, you may think is a narcissist because they've got narcissistic traits. Having narcissistic traits does not mean that they're a narcissist. They could have been a codependent growing up, mirroring the narcissist to keep them safe. But we all have narcissistic traits. We all look in the mirror and say, yeah, actually I look good. Well, I'm hoping you do at some point. That's another whole complete series and subject really about having confidence in yourself. And yet some people call those having narcissistic traits, but it's not. So when we grow up with a narcissistic parent, when we get into a relationship where some or our partner is showing narcissistic traits, what can happen is we can get triggered by those triggers. It does not mean that your partner has and is a narcissist, but it does mean that we need to look at how we can help you, how we can move you out of being in this space of not safe into a space of being safe. And you may remember when I wrote about your parent and what it would look like if your parent was in a safe space. Well, if your parent was a narcissist, they were not your safe space. They were your unsafe space. They were the source of your insecurities. They were the source of your low self-esteem, and they were the source of your feelings of inadequacy. They were the person who made you feel like you had to be perfect in order to be loved. They were the person who made you feel like there was something wrong with you. It could even be by reading a book and getting words wrong. You would have been age appropriate when you were doing that, and you got told off for making a mistake. They were the person who made you feel inferior. And they were the person who made you feel like you had to earn their affection and their attention. They were the parent who made you feel like you had to earn forgiveness for being yourself. Because of the extreme lack of remorse or guilt, they are narcissistic and they are never sorry. They are never sorry for anything that they do or that they say. They don't even know what it means to be sorry. So, you could be the most perfect person in the world, but your parent could never and would never ever feel sorry for the things that they said to you. So I want to have a look now at what it could look like if your parent was a narcissist. Because frequently they are selfish, they're self-absorbed, and they're incapable of seeing things through someone else's perspective. And on top of that, they have an incredibly strong need for admiration and attention. So let's have a look now at what some of the telltale signs are. So the first one could be that they are in constant need to be admired and praised. They need reassurance that they're special, and they will often demand praise for every single little thing that they do for you. Remembering that love when you're a parent should be unconditional. Things that they should do and will do for you should come from a gratitude of having an amazing child, but it doesn't. They expect you to thank them regularly for paying the rent, paying the bills, bringing you food, all that sort of thing, which is commonplace. It's called bringing you up. And they're constantly putting you down and making you feel bad about yourself. They don't just want praise. They want you to feel worthless so they can be in control, so they can satisfy their own need of feeling superior. And they could actually tell you that you're lazy, you're stupid, you're bad, you're going around in circles for being normal, for being age appropriate. And you can see an extension of you with themselves, because that's all they see you as. They're not interested in you as a person. You are a tool to make themselves feel better. And they might constantly tell you how lucky you are to be in this family, or you wouldn't be anything without them. And they're not concerned about your feelings or needs. Your feelings and needs are often brushed away. So if these are some of the things that sound like you, we need to talk. Because I'm incredibly passionate about moving you forward into an amazing space and for you to live your amazing life. Because narcissists do not care about anyone but themselves, really deep down. If you ask them to do something, or if you need something, they might shrug it off, they might ignore it, and they even might put you down for asking. And they've got absolutely no empathy for your feelings or needs unless they are going to gain from it, because it's all about them. And it can often feel like they just don't give a hoot about you. And you will often hear the words, "You're lucky to have me." And this is one of the most obvious signs of narcissism. If you tell your parent, for example, that you're sick or you're injured or you're struggling in some way, and they're likely to actually turn around and say, "You're so lucky to have me in your life. What would you do if I wasn't able to pick you up?" They might genuinely be unsympathetic, or maybe they just don't understand your feelings, which could be the case because they are so wrapped up in their own world. But when it comes to when you start feeling afraid of your parent, that's when things have gone far too far and you need to get out. You need to seek help. It's when you're constantly worried about your parents' reaction, or you feel like you need to walk on eggshells around them, and you may be dealing them with a narcissist. If you're always nervous about saying something or doing something wrong, or concerned that you'll set off an explosion or some sort of tirade of abuse, then absolutely your parent could be a narcissist. You've tried to end the relationship as you've grown with your parents, but you can't break free from that control. Because if you break free from that contact with your parents, they won't let you forget about it. Because they want that level of control over you. And that can be done through manipulation, guilt, or emotional abuse. And if you've tried to break that contact off with your parent, and you're already sitting in this space on what I'm talking about, then you know what it feels like. And then they threaten to hurt themselves. They scream at you. They say they'll do something, they'll end their life. All emotional abuse, remembering that you can't control what they do. The only thing that you can control is yourself. But they don't realize that, because what they are trying to do is control you, emotionally manipulate you to staying into the relationship. So if your parent was a narcissist, it's a good chance that they're emotionally unavailable for most of your life. They were never there for you. They were already too busy putting themselves first. Like they're emotionally unavailable to you. And what happens when a parent is emotionally unavailable to you is you start to believe, you form the belief that love is not available to you, that you are not worthy of it, because if they treated you better, then it must mean that you're lovable. Because they're not treating you better, it must be your fault. It must mean because you're not lovable. And that is complete BS. It's what you've formed an opinion about because of a way that a parent has treated you. You were born lovable. You were born crying out for food and you were given food. You knew that your emotions were met, but somewhere along the line, here comes your parent and you've learned that you weren't lovable. Well, you absolutely are lovable. It just means that they're not emotionally available to you. And when they put you in a position where you're always trying to earn their affection and attention, it just puts so much stress on you, and you just go into this downward spiral. You start having those looping thoughts. It's all about you. You need to start earning their forgiveness. What can you do? And no matter what you do, no matter how perfect you become, it is not enough because they are emotionally unavailable. So if you think that your parents are narcissists, please reach out to me, because we can absolutely here at Raw bring you through this state and help you live your most amazing life. Thanks so much for tuning in. You know I'm incredibly passionate about trauma and the narcissist, so I hope you look out for my next podcast. With much love, Margarita.